The sun hung low in the sky as Jessica Thompson stood before the crumbling entrance of what was once the glossy facade of Aqua Dreamland, a water park that had promised thrills and laughter but now lay in ruin. The air, thick with the scent of rust and decay, was a stark reminder of dreams turned to dust. This was not a fairy tale. It was the harsh reality of her life as a single mother struggling to make ends meet. She stared at the peeling paint and the rusty gates that swung gently in the breeze, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and determination. Jessica had been a single parent since her husband, Mark Thompson, had left with little more than empty promises, leaving her to raise their 2 children alone. At 35, she felt the weight of the world pressing down on her shoulders, but desperation often breeds creativity, and today was no exception. With just $700 in her bank account, she had made a decision that would undoubtedly raise eyebrows. She bought the dilapidated water park, lured by the idea of turning it into a community center for local children. It was a gamble, one that could either save her family from financial ruin or plunge her deeper into debt. But something inside her whispered that this derelict property held secrets worth unearthing. Enter Malcolm Greer, a ruthless real estate developer with an eye for profit and a heart as cold as the steel structures surrounding them. Malcolm had long coveted the land Aqua Dreamland occupied, seeing potential for a luxury condo complex that would line his pockets handsomely. To him, Jessica Thompson was merely an obstacle, a feeble woman standing in the way of his grand vision. He had already tried to buy the park from the former owners and was furious when he discovered that it had slipped through his fingers. "You have no idea what you're getting into, Jessica," he warned her, his voice low and menacing as he approached her that fateful day. "You think this place is just a rundown amusement park? It's a ticking time bomb. You'll regret this decision." His eyes glinted with a challenge, and she could feel the tension crackling in the air. With each word he spoke, Jessica felt a surge of defiance swell within her. She was tired of being underestimated, tired of people like Malcolm dismissing her as just another single mother with no future. "You don't know me, Malcolm. I've faced worse than crumbling water slides and rusty pools. I'll turn this place around if it's the last thing I do." Deep inside, however, a flicker of doubt ignited as she gazed into the depths of the abandoned park. What if he was right? What if this was a fool's errand? But it was too late for second-guessing. She had signed the papers and there was no turning back. She had dreams to chase, and for the first time in years, she felt a spark of hope. Days turned into weeks as Jessica tackled the monumental task of cleaning up Aqua Dreamland. Her children, Lily and Ben, aged 8 and 5 respectively, helped her paint over graffiti, scrub the cracked tiles, and clear out debris. Each evening, as the weary family returned home, they laughed and made memories together, forging bonds stronger than the challenges they faced. Yet, Malcolm loomed like a shadow, always present in the background, watching her every move. He had begun to spread rumors around town that the park was haunted and unsafe, trying to turn the community against her. "Don't waste your time, folks. It's a money pit," he'd proclaim with a smirk. But Jessica refused to give in to his intimidation tactics. One evening, as the sun dipped beneath the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Jessica stumbled across something curious while digging through the wreckage of the wave pool area. Lifting a section of the cracked tiles, her heart raced as she unearthed a hidden compartment filled with dust-covered documents. Stunned, she carefully laid them out on the ground, realizing they were blueprints of the park, along with plans for a never-completed expansion that hinted at a colossal underground reservoir. What did that mean? She felt a rush of adrenaline. If the plans were legitimate, they could imply that Aqua Dreamland had far more value than anyone had anticipated. News of an underground reservoir could transform the property's potential and give her the leverage needed to fend off Malcolm Greer's relentless pursuit. However, as she pored over the blueprints, a chilling thought crept into her mind. Why had no one mentioned this before? What had happened to the plans? And why would a water park need such a vast underground reservoir? The question swirled in her head like the murky waters of the wave pool that lay abandoned behind her. That night, with the documents tucked safely under her arm, Jessica lay awake, staring at the ceiling in her small home. This could be the moment that changed everything for her family, but it also felt perilous. What if Malcolm got wind of her discovery? He had the resources and influence to make her life a living hell or worse, to destroy her dreams before they even had a chance to bloom. In the depths of her thoughts, she knew that she had to act fast and carefully. The fight for Aqua Dreamland was just beginning, and with $412 million concealed beneath the surface, she had no choice but to play the game smartly. But as she drifted off to sleep, a nagging dread settled in her gut. She was stepping into a world where dreams could easily turn into nightmares. What had she truly uncovered, and would she have the strength to face whatever lay ahead? The answers would unravel soon enough, and she was determined to find out. As dawn broke, illuminating the crumbled remains of the water park, Jessica awoke to the incessant chirping of birds that seemed to mock her. The sun filtered through the cracks in the roof, casting shadows that danced ominously on the walls. With a heavy heart, she rose and prepared to explore the dilapidated property that she had bought for a pittance. Her thoughts swirled around the vague promises of wealth hidden beneath the surface of the collapsed wave pool, a treasure that could change everything for her and her child. But even as a flicker of hope ignited within her, a chill ran down her spine. Determined, Jessica ventured outside, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and rusting metal. Her first order of business was to survey the wave pool more closely. The memories of its former glory, a place of laughter, splashes, and sunny afternoons, were now mingled with the weight of its decay. As she stepped cautiously towards the water, she felt a sense of foreboding, as if the very ground beneath her feet was warning her to turn back. Jessica had barely begun to inspect the rotting wooden beams around the edge when she heard a familiar voice resonating through the stillness. "You shouldn't be here, Jessica." It was Malcolm, the former owner of the water park, appearing suddenly as if conjured by her anxiety. He strode towards her with a confident swagger, his sharp suit a stark contrast to the ruins surrounding them. "Malcolm," Jessica replied, forcing herself to maintain eye contact, though her insides twisted with unease. "What are you doing here?" "I could ask you the same thing," Malcolm replied with a smug grin. "I thought you'd have more sense than to dig around in a sinking ship. You really think you can turn this place around?" His words dripped with sarcasm, but there was something more insidious lurking beneath his bravado. "I'm here to see what's left," Jessica said defiantly, "and maybe find out why you let it go to ruin." Malcolm's expression shifted, a flicker of irritation crossing his face. "You have no idea what you're getting into. This park is tainted. You might as well light a match and walk away." With each taunt, Jessica felt the resolve in her chest harden. "You let it crumble," she countered. "You abandoned this place and everyone who loved it. I'm not afraid of a little hard work." Malcolm scoffed, stepping closer. "You think you can fix what I destroyed? Trust me, Jessica, there are things here far worse than the concrete and rust. This park is the least of your worries." His eyes glinted, a storm brewing behind them. "Is that a threat?" She shot back, anger igniting within her. She needed to establish that she was no longer the same vulnerable single mother he once dismissed. "You don't scare me." For a fleeting moment, Malcolm's mask slipped, revealing a flash of genuine anger. "You don't know the half of it," he warned, his voice low and dangerous. "This park is just the surface. There are secrets buried far deeper than you can imagine. Once you peel back the layers, you won't want to know what lies beneath." Jessica's heart raced as she grappled with his ominous words. Just then, a sound caught her attention, a faint rustling from behind a stack of debris. She turned her head, her instincts kicking in as she stepped back. "What was that?" she asked, her voice trembling with uncertainty. Malcolm's expression darkened further. "Whatever it is, it's better left alone. Trust me." But Jessica was already moving towards the pile, curiosity overpowering her fear. As she pulled aside loose boards, a flash of metallic glimmer met her eyes. She brushed away the dirt and debris to reveal a rusted toolbox, its latch barely holding on. Malcolm moved to grab her wrist, his grip vice-like, as he hissed in warning, "I said leave it!" The tension crackled between them, a silent war of wills. "Let go of me," Jessica demanded, shaking free from his grasp. "You can't keep scaring me into submission. Whatever's in this toolbox might be important." With a surge of determination, she popped the rusty latch open. Inside, she found a collection of old tools, but more importantly, documents. She flipped through them frantically, her heart pounding. Blueprints, contracts, and letters that hinted at something monumental, buried within the very heart of the wave pool. Malcolm loomed over her, his eyes darkening with rage as she uncovered more. "Stop it, Jessica!" he shouted, panic lacing his tone. "You don't know what you're getting into." But she was too far gone, her mind racing as she pieced together the significance of what she found. "You've been lying about this place, haven't you? There's something here you don't want me to discover." His facade cracked completely as he stepped back, visibly shaken. "You have to understand, it's not worth it. Leave this park behind, and I'll make sure you're compensated." Compensated? Jessica almost laughed, but the gravity of the situation anchored her. "You think I'll sell out? You think I'm merely a broke single mother desperate for money?" Malcolm's expression shifted again, transforming into something dangerous and predatory. "You have no idea what you're dealing with, Jessica. Those blueprints involve far more than just a wave pool. There are people who will do anything to keep those secrets buried." As he spoke, doubt gnawed at her resolve. Could he be right? But she had come too far to turn back now. The stakes were rising, and with them, her determination to uncover the truth that lay beneath the surface. For a fleeting second, Malcolm's vulnerability vanished, replaced by a cold calculation. "You have a choice to make. Walk away now or risk everything. Your life might just be the cost of your curiosity." Jessica's heart raced, a mixture of fear and defiance coursing through her veins. She knew this was only the beginning. If she wanted to reclaim her life, her dreams, and the future for her child, she would have to face whatever darkness lay ahead, even if that darkness came from Malcolm himself. Jessica stood at the edge of the collapsed wave pool, staring into the abyss that had, until recently, been a chaotic swirl of laughter and splashes. The remnants of a sunken paradise mocked her. Peeling paint and rusted machinery lay strewn about like memories of a life that had once been vibrant. She could still hear Malcolm's voice, echoing in her mind, taunting her with threats and promises of destruction. Today was the day she would confront him. The letters she had received from the lawyers had made it clear. Malcolm was not going to let her escape his grasp without a fight. But Jessica felt a newfound resolve burning inside her. She had come too far to be intimidated now, especially when the potential windfall of $412 million lay tantalizingly close. However, she knew that Malcolm wouldn't simply walk away from his claim on the property, or on her life. Dusk set in as she paced around the perimeter of the water park, rehearsing what she would say. The soft wind rustled through the broken structures, urging her forward. Jessica steeled herself and made her way to the only intact building on the premises, the main office. After calling the police for support, she stepped inside, her heart pounding in her chest. The musty air clung to her skin, filled with the scent of dampness and decay. She moved through the darkened corridors, feeling the weight of her past pressing down on her, yet also giving her strength. The office door creaked open, and there he was, Malcolm, lounging in a splintered chair like he owned the place. His smile was sly, but there was something else in his eyes. Fear. "Jessica," he drawled, feigning nonchalance. "I didn't expect you to show up." "I'm not afraid of you anymore, Malcolm," she replied, her voice steady. "I know what you've done, and I'm not going to let you manipulate me or my future any longer." He rose slowly, the smirk fading from his face. "You think you can just walk in here and claim what's mine? You may have the park now, but I still hold the keys to your fears." Jessica took a deep breath, her thoughts racing. She had spent too long allowing him to control her narrative, and now was time to rewrite her story. "You don't understand, do you? This isn't just about the water park. This is about my life, my choices, and my son's future. You think you can intimidate me into submission, but you're wrong." Malcolm stepped closer, his voice dropping to a whisper. "You're playing a dangerous game, Jessica. You think you can take me on? You'll regret it." "Regret? I've been regretting my choices for too long," she shot back, taking a step forward. "You think you can scare me into giving up? I'm not that woman anymore. You'll not win this time." The tension in the room crackled like a live wire. Jessica's heart raced as she faced him, a part of her bracing for the inevitable confrontation. But instead of retaliating, Malcolm hesitated, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his features. It was a small victory, but a significant one. "I know about the money," she continued, pressing her advantage. "I know you thought you could keep me in the dark, but I did my homework. This place is worth a fortune, and I will find a way to reclaim my life, with or without you." His eyes narrowed, and an ugly sneer curled his lips. "You think you'll be able to turn this crumbling mess into anything? You're just a broke single mother with big dreams. Don't get ahead of yourself." "Perhaps," she replied, her voice calm but firm. "But I also have strength, determination, and a new life worth fighting for. Your threats don't intimidate me anymore. It's time for you to leave." The police sirens wailed in the distance, a reminder that help was on the way. Panic flickered in Malcolm's eyes. He glanced towards the window as if weighing his options, and in that moment, Jessica seized the opportunity. "You've lost control, Malcolm. It's over. It's time for you to go." With one last defiant glare, Malcolm spun on his heel and stormed out of the office, slamming the door behind him. Jessica stood there, breathless, a mix of triumph and disbelief washing over her. She had faced him and emerged victorious, but the battle was far from over. Hours later, after the police had taken Malcolm into custody for his past threats and intimidation, Jessica sat in the main office, feeling a mixture of relief and exhilaration wash over her. The future was still uncertain, but it no longer felt bleak. She had reclaimed her power, and that felt like the first step toward real freedom. As the months rolled by, Jessica put in the hard work to restore the water park. With the help of her community, she began to transform the dilapidated property into something beautiful. She spent countless nights mapping out plans, securing funding, and working toward her goal. Slowly but surely, the wave pool became a reality again, filled with laughter and joy. Months turned into years. The water park became a local hotspot, a family destination that breathed life into the community. For Jessica, the success wasn't just in the park's revival but in her own transformation. She had turned her life around, freeing herself from the shadows of Malcolm's control. She felt empowered, and it reflected in her relationship with her son, who thrived in the newfound environment filled with happiness. Years later, standing at the edge of a newly vibrant wave pool, Jessica watched her son play with other children. Her heart swelled with pride. She had built this life from the ashes of her past. Malcolm had faded into a distant memory, a reminder of how far she had come, and she had no intention of ever looking back. But even as the sunlight sparkled on the water, she knew life would continue to present challenges. What mattered most was her resilience and the knowledge that she could face whatever came next, head on.